During her live interview, NSIBAMBI had some altercation with the former presidential candidate Robert KASIBANTE, and he told off Robert KASIBANTE that standing for president is not for clown. This came as a result when Robert KASIBANTE took a petition in court and later withdrew it, citing monetary terms. In fact, he hesitated.
Ekitegeeza nti olina okuleeta omusango n'awaze ng'oli wa muzinzi.
In this case, that district
gwe bayita man of straw. Toyinza kwesimbawo kuba president nga tewalidde na kyaggulo. You a man of straw. Kakati ono byayogerako nti ngireeta omusango nninda bano banyambeko kubanga ssente bane nga tulinda ekizibu. Toyinza kujja kuba president nga tolina accounting mumu. Ekyo kiri wano mu Uganda abantu bamukulu KASIBANTE bazze okutuzanyirako. Kakati gwe bwoba tosobola kuteekayo na musango mu kooti oyagala FDC abaaki bakukuŋŋanyize akabbo ebyo tebikola. So mu mateeka ate ne gye naali wano toleeta futile action. In fact bagamba nti this court is not for everybody. Abantu abali mu bbaala ne bajjira bagamba nti tugende mu kooti. No. Kyovula bapanishinga nawe roya bandi badde baba wa cost. Bino
That's Yusufu NSIBAMBI. What you see in that video, it was bile. Yusufu NSIBAMBI was so emotional. But however, he was right. Running for presidency, even in democracy, you need a certain level of muscle power. If you don't have a muscle power, at least you have to have human resource or a technique to get money. For example, Baby may not be the richest, but he can be able to run a campaign successfully because of the support he has. He can decide to fundraise to get money from the people, and they will do it. So for someone to run for a presidential campaign, first of all, you need money. If you don't have money, at least you must have human resource that can get you money. That's what runs a peaceful campaign trail. Because if you have supporters, they can even try to house you during campaign. They can give you hotel accommodation, refreshments, etc. So NSIBAMBI was right. So the purpose of this video, I've come to discuss the statements which were made by Yusufu NSIBAMBI, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the sedimentaries we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're into this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube. Type in Sula Mawagali. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. First of all, Yusufu NSIBAMBI said the actual statement. But he forgot one thing. The reason why many of the people like Robert KASIBANTE ran for this presidency, I've ever done a video talking about it. Normally, authoritarian across the world, during a presidential election, they sponsor different presidential candidates. Robert KASIBANTE had a closer name to Robert Kyagulanyi, so it was easier to hoodwink those who were not so conversant on the ballot. Secondly, in a dictatorship, they sponsor different candidates so that they can create a seemingly of a democracy. If the opposition party comes out to say that we don't have democracy, that is a dictatorship, the outside world will see that how come in the presidential race where there are 7 people and you are telling us that there is no democracy. So such people like Robert KASIBANTE, who even have a history of having wanted to run on the NRM ticket in a primary to stand as MP, and later he switched to run for presidency, it shows you how authoritarians do. So Robert KASIBANTE, because I always tell you that in an election, there are contenders. Contenders mean, that there are people who are looked at as winners. In the previous election, we had Museveni and Robert Kyagulanyi, they were contenders. 3, there are those who can tilt the vote. In an election, there are those people who, if they run for president, they can get very many votes that can tilt on the contenders, either to fail them to get the 50+1 votes or to create a third force. In the previous election, we never had any. It's the reason why the third presidential candidate, I think, got 190,000 votes, if I'm not mistaken, but not more than 200. So he was not a tilter. 3, in a race, we also have sure losers. Those who, if they come to run, but they are going to lose. In 2021, we had Katumba, Oye, William Mayamba. In this election, we had KASIBANTE, Munyagwa Mbaraka, etc. Those are normally sponsored by the regime to create a seemingly of democracy. So here, NSIBAMBI was 100% right. Secondly, NSIBAMBI is also an hypocrite. He's the one who came out to say that he's going to fight hard for the prisoners to be released, but he wants them to say that they did the crime. So this regime is so fake to an extent that they come to arrest you, they fail to adduce evidence in court, they send you emissaries to tell you that you should do plea bargain, to accept that you did a crime. How so ironic? How can you arrest me and then you tell, after failing to adduce evidence that I did a crime, you tell me that I should accept so that I can be released? You can only find it in Uganda. In fact, NSIBAMBI said these statements.
I've been involved deeply in the release of what we call political prisoners. The government calls them misdirected criminals, young men and women. It has not been easy. We have the first batch of 50 prisoners who were supposed to be released by Friday last week. Then 72 are supposed to be released 2 weeks thereafter. Unfortunately, most of these prisoners are NUP members. The leadership in NUP believes that they are innocent. They should not go through plea bargaining, which is a legal process, and they should wait for the government to release them unconditionally under protest, which is weird. We don't expect government, which has charged these people, has preferred charges severely against the individuals involved, to release them unconditionally. That is a great risk. One, it would give an impression that these people are innocent. Whether they're innocent or not, they have been in incarceration for the last 4 years or so, apart from the recent arrests after the elections. We believe there must be a way of compromise and dialogue. I've talked to His Excellency the President, and he said for him he cannot just release people who are charged in courts of law. You have to go through a legal process. Either they are convicted and he gives a pardon under the prerogative of mercy, or they go through what we call plea bargaining. Plea bargaining does not presuppose that you are guilty, but you only say, I'm sorry, whatever happened, let's just forge forward. So I think it is a wrong legal strategy for the lawyers or the party to say, please don't go through plea bargaining.
That is Yusuf NSIBAMBI. So I think some opposition leader who may want to join the regime should stop hiding behind the political prisoners, because they are dancing on the graves of these individuals. You cannot tell me you come in my home, you arrest me for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. Every time you come to court, you ask the judges that to give you more time so that you can bring evidence. You fail to bring evidence. Then you start sending emissaries for me to accept the crime. How ironic. You clearly see that these people are using the political prisoners to get freebies. Shame on Yusuf NSIBAMBI. Shame on you. Secondly, I also blame the criminal justice system that is being used. If I'm a judge, arrest somebody, and the public prosecutor fails to bring evidence, why shouldn't I give these people bail? But you keep people on remand for 5 years. The people were arrested in the 2021 election. They have spent 5 years in jail without the evidence being brought to court, without them being convicted. What is that? Are we having a country? And it's the reasons why, as these things go on, we are failing as a nation. Of course, as my opinion remains truly Mr. Makindi, Kabir Sulaiman Magal. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.